Good morning. I'm Victoria Savage, Nurse Savage on your side, your wisdom guided oracle, and we're having tea. Already had some coffee, now I'm having some tea. Good morning. How was your weekend? How was your Friday? Wow, we had 3x class flares come in from the sun, and those are always physically, emotionally, weirdly unsettling. Uh, have you felt a little dizziness, maybe some nauseousness, increased pain, weird feelings? I thought Friday night I might be coming down with something, so I went into all of my mantra modes, choosing differently, and then the physical aspect of what I know to do if something is threatening my physical body. And I woke up Saturday feeling okay, a little kind of the same, just kind of punky, weird, not really up to much. And Sunday, so I stayed in mostly and just did some actual work on some Christmas gifts. And so that was lovely. But I did self care. And right now, we've got so much changing energy coming in that does affect our physical. We just finished a full moon, and then we have these X flares. There will be more with the planetary alignments. We've got the weather changing weirdly, really sad stories throughout the world. Things are in turmoil. And how best do we manage this? And what does it look like for us? Well, three decks that I don't use so often. I love two of them. One of them I'm not too sure about, but it was the whole package card for this reading. And it's the number 20 in this. It's a gypsy deck. And there's writing up here that you can't see, but the Seven of Clubs, and it's the Lily. And the Lily, depending on the rest of the reading, will foretell happy life. But if it's surrounded by, it's basically a morph card. Whatever the cards are surrounded by, whatever it's surrounded by, it will portend an increase in that energy. So let's look at the Dreams of Gaia Tarot. We've got the Six of Water. Beautiful. This is very peaceful, very sweet. You're being offered, I know you can't probably see it real well. She is opening her hand and offering you a pearl necklace or a pearl bracelet, and there is an emphasis on her third eye. And that is our intuition. That is gifts through our intuition. That is something we might want to check out, might want to pay attention to, because with these energies that have come in, we are really being prompted to do the shifts that we need. We are in this shifting time of living differently in our physical bodies so that our spiritual bodies can do the job they came to do. And so we will be prompted physically. Everything that happens in the universe physically happens to us physically as well. Just like, people don't believe in the full moon stuff. Well, you talk to any psych nurse and any ER nurse, and they'll tell you weird patient stuff comes in on those evenings. Well, if it can move the tides of the ocean, how arrogant are we to think that it would not affect us who are 73 to 93% water? So we are affected by these. It is now our job in what to do with them. So let's see what the Four of Water is about, what they want us to know. I think I've projected pretty easily or accurately what this is about. You are beautiful. Be aware of the weakness, but focus on strengths. So what I didn't say was this card, again, it's just real hard to see, came up in reverse. So this is, you are worthy and deserving of all that you dream, but remember, so is everyone else. What if your joy comes at the expense of another person? And I beg to differ with this deck or with this interpretation, because our joy cannot come at the expense of another person, because then it is truly not joy. So This is the blockage. Can you stand tall and proud and have respect for yourself if your happiness carries the price of another person's heartbreak? So this is like I was going to say a warning card, but it's more of a thought-provoking card. Do you believe that what you desire is going to cost other people's? If it is truly in your highest and best good, if it is in your light, in the light of you moving forward in your highest and best, then it cannot cost someone else. They freely choose how they want to travel through the world. It may cost your relationship because that relationship can no longer support your highest and best good, but it cannot cost another person's their joy without their permission. And so this isn't a, well, I don't really care about them card. It is trust that when you receive what you desire purely, intentionally from your higher aspect, the universe, God, creator, the central sun, it cannot be at the expense of someone else. It doesn't have to be, because there is a finite amount of all that we desire in the universe, an infinite amount, not a finite amount. So the next card coming up is the Time Master. And this is key. This is such a fun deck. This is key. The Time Master is telling you, remember, you are the author of time, and time is not a linear thing, but time is something that we hold differently than the infinite universe. Time, our timeline is a little different than theirs, but you are the master of time. What is that? Card 57. This came up the other day again. And so it again. Time is a construct of the human mind through which life events are seen to flow in a straight line from past to future. However, this is, however, an illusion. Time moves in patterns and fractals. When the Time Master visits you, you find yourself in a moment when the wheel of time turns and you're able to influence the past, thus changing the present and the future simultaneously. One way you can influence the past is self-forgiveness. Self-forgiveness is a huge aspect to claiming what you came to do in your spirit here. We will all go back to past failings or things we didn't do right or things we think put us on the path that we're on now, which isn't right. What we did is always aiming us towards where we have desired to go, but it may not be in the timeline that we think we wanted it to go or that it should have gone. So shoulds are a very dangerous path. Our timeline is not creators. Free yourself up. Know that what you desire desires you. And so you will create more of what you want and less of what you don't want if you focus on what you desire. The next card that came up was the Five of Air. And it's got two faces on it. This is, you know what? I'm going to reduce this. Let's just try that. There we go. The Five of Air. Got blindfold on. She's got a mask on or off. And this came up in reverse. And so the Five of Air, I don't work with these cards a great deal. I think they're lovely, but so I will look at what the reverse meaning is with all the five cards. Five of Air reversed offers a second challenging message, reading the choice to wear a mask. Are you hiding from the world? Are you hiding from yourself? How do you want to walk? In authenticity or in a version of who you truly are? Whether it's a personal message or pertaining to someone close by, Five of Air reversed is advising you to be cautious, misrepresenting yourself, a situation, or another person. This is telling you you want to always be in your integrity and telling the truth, even if someone else doesn't like it. When you throw yourself, well, when you tell a lie, even a white lie, to spare someone's feelings, you throw your whole nervous system out of integrity. Grand rising to you too, Francesca. When you throw yourself out of integrity, you are out of alignment physically, mentally, emotionally, and spiritually. And so you might, especially if you've been in a habit of not really being truthful with people because for whatever reason, you don't feel you can't can, or you feel like your truth is not something that they can accept, it is time for you to really look at that. We can't move forward while we're clinging to the past. And again, that has to do with the time master, being able to forgive yourself for how you've been. And that aspect of being authentic is usually hardest when we're focused on what has happened in the past, who we've been, how we've worked in the world. It is now time to be brutally honest. And I often will ask the universe to ease what I have to say so that it is not so sharp, maybe, but the message that needs to get across gets across. I will ask that often because I am pretty straightforward and can be very blunt. And I have been blessed with the ability to say things at times that aren't so cutting. And at times they need to cut through all the BS that that person is believing, dealing with, hearing in their head. But I always ask for it to be said in the highest possible energy so that they can truly benefit. So, this is you being your authentic self. What you desire, the things that are coming to you, will come in a time that can be handled, but you have to take steps to make that happen. Hoping, wishing, trying, none of it is going to do it. Choosing and moving forward. It's like when I felt like I was getting sick. Truly, the last time I felt like that, and I wasn't so enmeshed in how that felt, but it was that same kind of, I just felt weird, wasn't feeling physically kind of there, was when I came down with COVID in January of 21. So it's almost 5 years ago since I have been sick. Why? Because I choose differently. And that was when I felt that being off a little bit. And it turns out it was probably the X class flares and all that solar energy, because we are being made to shift in our physical. So just know that that's why the physical is reacting too. But I went into, I choose well. I am well. I am healthy. I choose well. I am well. I went upstairs. I took a salt and Epsom salt bath to suck out all the toxins. I sat in my sauna the next morning. I did all the things that I knew that would help the physical along with the spiritual, mental, emotional choice points I was making. So, because we are all things, we need to deal with life in all manners. The ghost dance. This is the ancestor card. This is a reminder that a lot of what you're bringing in isn't even yours. A lot of the belief systems you've had about yourself and ways you have walked into life or through life up until now, which are very powerful words. Well, Candy, yeah. She said, I get in trouble for being blunt. But the truth is, it serves whoever you're talking to not to be beating around the bush. I ask, please make this come in a way that is softer for people, so that they can move forward and we can move forward, always in the highest and best. So when you do it from that place of love, Candy, ask for the guidance, and how they receive it. Um, Honestly, isn't your circus, isn't your monkeys, when you are giving it with a loving heart, even if it's not what they want to hear. We can't choose for someone else how they're going to receive anything. We can choose how we send it with the greatest of love and best desire for them, but how they receive it isn't in our purview. So the ghost dance is a reminder that ancestral energies are part of what we are dealing with right now, part of what we are shedding and healing by choice. We came in to do that as choice points in our lives. And this one's a big choice point. That's kind of what the title is about. We can choose to really move into this changing, shifting energy that is this new world coming through, or we can resist and push it back, and because it's different, it's scary, I don't like it's not what I know, it's not what I've been, and we'll still get there, but it's going to be with a lot more resistant energy, some prickliness, more unusual things that we don't really love. So that willingness to flow and go, okay, this energy is weird. I'm still having just little bouts of some dizziness here and there, just kind of weird stuff that I'm just going with, going, okay. and doing what I need to do. I stayed in and made the Christmas gifts that I make every once in a while for my family. I made those all weekend. And I watched Downton Abbey because I love that show. And I mean, I really just watch things that don't make me feel bad, sad, scared, or anything. Uh, yeah. And so it was a lovely weekend of just working on healing myself from the energies that are throwing me out of balance by doing something I love to do that was soothing to me. Creating is always a good choice if you're feeling weird or off. Because again, of course, I was creating for family, but the act of creation has to be for no one but the act itself, which is a very healing, balancing, centering act. So if you get that weird feeling, if you're feeling just off, weird, not great, maybe just, and it doesn't seem to be real illness, then start doodling. Doodle the anxiety, doodle what's ever coming up for you. I've been doing mandalas off and on since September of last year, 2024. They're a way to bring through energies, to discharge energies, and they're not for anybody but me. The next card that's coming up is the Nine of Air. Very much that. Look at the fire dagger towards the heart and the third eye open. And I'm not really sure what these are on both sides. They look like hands, but they're not, I don't think. They're almost like horns. You know what? Might help if I put on my glasses. That center. Well, there's a lotus leaf. Oh, they are the fingers. And look at, they each have the finger on fire. This is that healing card. This is that third eye where you heal from the information you receive when you're choosing to be led by spirit, and the fire fingers. One of the things that happens is our hands are activated for, that's not what it's called, but it's in essence what happens when we learn Reiki. Attuned, that's what it is. And those are the attuned fingers of healing it by bringing through the intuitive aspect. You are your own best healer. You don't have to have someone else doing it for you. You don't have to have someone else to lay their hands on you to heal. There are many physical tools as well. I just saw something on Facebook. Frankincense is an incredibly lovely energy, but just putting in, it's kind of a pricey oil, but just inhaling, if you put a drop on your palms and inhaling that 10 times, this man said, this was the doctor, I believe, cured his brain cancer. If you have any kind of physical concern, go to the physical aspect as well as a choice. I can guarantee you this man chose to be cancer free. I had two friends that had breast cancer at the same time. One is dead, lived about a year plus, and the other one is still alive. Both were older women. And the one that died, the one that lived said, well, yeah, because she got all about cancer and I got all about living. And they both, worked to bring through. One did all the chemo and that when she died, and the other didn't do, she did do some chemo and some radiation, if I remember correctly. And she did other things. She did oils, she did nutrition, she did choosing. And so because we are all aspects, we really want to employ all aspects right now for our highest and best good. I'm going to read this one because I think this is the first time this card has come up. Wild woman. To me, that's a very much a power stance, a freedom stance, a stance saying no more boxes for me. That is card 62 in this deck. When the wild woman dances into your reading, she reminds you of the essence of authenticity and freedom, divested of all social constraints and cultural conformity. The wild woman holds up a mirror to your essential self, the true essence of who you are and who you're meant to become. She is a reminder of the bright light within each of us. When the wild woman comes to dance in your reading, you're invited to shine brightly and to know that your true self is being called out to engage the world. Again, there's more, but I won't read it all. We get that message of being authentically you is so vitally important now. and really want to open, willing, ready, guide me in this process, especially if you have hid who you are, what you have to say, and what you desire from those closest to you, because those are the ones that will probably be the most challenging when it comes out and out of your mouth, for those who that are right around you, if this is not something you've been doing. So this again is a reading for you to heal you. And we have so much physicality altering things right now that we really want to work on our physical self through our choice. Remember, our mental, I choose. The power of our intention in our energy field is huge. Bring in, if you are of the Christian faith, bring in that aspect, that healing aspect of Jesus, the forgiveness aspect, all of that. It doesn't matter what your faith is, because the energy that you are is true regardless of your faith. And so that is where you want to put it. But faith is something that elevates our energy when it is a true belief of ours. Now, if it's causing discord in us because it is not accepting us as the true person that we are, then we want to look at it. Is this the right place for me to continue? It may not be. But regardless of your faith, you are energy. Energy is our intuition. Energy is our spirit. Energy is our intention, our words, our thoughts, our beliefs. So you are creating whatever is in front of you right now. And if you've been willing to step into this new earth in a new way, you're probably feeling physically a little weird. Know that it is okay. Stay connected to your higher power, open, willing, ready to be guided. And shed some love on yourself. Give yourself some grace. Start the forgiveness process of yourself. We have to forgive ourselves first before we can truly forgive anyone else. And if there's someone huge in your life that you need to forgive, that does not mean that you ever have to let them in your physical field again. You don't have to play with them anymore. But the forgiveness is all about setting yourself free from the weight of that thing. We are complete for this beautiful Monday. Tomorrow is the 1111 portal. Very powerful energy for connecting to your higher power. I recommend you set aside some time do a little breath work, to just be quiet, get out in nature, love yourself in some way. Thanks for listening. I'm Victoria Savage, Nurse Savage on your side, your wisdom guided oracle. Until we meet again.